Hi, I'm Pastor Kelly Grace with Alive Christian Fellowship, coming to you with Unfolding Grace. This week I want to talk to you about the phrase messy in the middle. I recently heard this from a young preacher who just happened to be my oldest son. And he was talking about how God often tells you something, and then there's this long wait before it actually happens. Kind of like when farmers plant a seed, there's seed time, then harvest. You don't just plant a seed and then get the harvest the next day. But there's often in life this messy in the middle. Things just don't seem to be going right to what God, the dream that God has told you. I think of Joseph in the Bible. Here is one that had a big messy middle. God gave him a dream, and there was a huge messy in the middle before that dream came to happen. We see the final end and we don't think much of it, but it was really over 20 years from when God gave him the dream to when that dream came into being. And in the meantime, his brothers hated him so much that they sold him into slavery. Then he lived as a slave, which was not very good, in a land where he didn't speak the language. Then got accused of a crime that he did not commit, ended up going to prison for that, and it wasn't very nice conditions. But through that all, there still was a dream, and he held on. Joseph is an amazing man. I also think of King David. King David was anointed king long before he was actually crowned king. And there was a big messy in the middle where he was running for his life. King Saul wanted to kill him. That's living a little messy in the middle. How about the Apostle Paul? We think of his dramatic conversion on the road to Damascus, and we think, woo, instantly he was this awesome apostle. But what we forget, there was a long time in between where he was away, hidden away with God, long before he had a public ministry. Those messy in the middles. But it's during those times of those messy in the middle, from when God told you something to when that really happens, there's something that happens on the inside of you. How do I know that to be true? Because I've had it happen to me. And I bet you've had it happen to you. I've had times when I didn't like what I was going through. I didn't want to go through what I was going through. I didn't even choose to be going through what I was going through. There looked like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. There was no hope. But there was something. There was God. And there are some people in those times that they just give up. And they blame it on God. They blame it on their parents. They blame it on their spouse. They blame it on somebody else. Maybe even sometimes blame it on themselves. They never get to the final point of their dream coming true when that happens. Or you can be like Joseph and David and Paul and many others, that during that messy in the middle time, which is called life, that they hold on to God saying, God, I know your word is true. Your word is true above even what the circumstances are happening. I know this to be true personally. Because it's in those times, of those hard times, those struggle times, that just like Joseph, in Psalms 105, verse 19, this is speaking of Joseph. It says, until the time came to fulfill his dreams, the Lord tested his character. That's really what's happening in those tough times, that messy in the middle when life seems so confusing and it doesn't seem like there's an end and there's never going to be a fulfillment of dream. It's that messy in the middle where God is testing your character. He's seeing what you're made of. Are you going to have the leadership? Are you going to have the strength to be that leader or to fulfill that dream he's called? Or are you going to be so weak you give up? So if you're in the middle of a messy middle, don't give up. Check your heart. Where are you leaning to? Cry out to the Lord. God, I'm standing upon your word. I'm not giving up. I know what your word says, and I stand upon this as truth, no matter what the circumstances may look like. I know I had to do that when my world was crumbling to my feet and there was nothing left. And everything that I had was taken from me. And the thing I loved most was gone. I had to cry out to God saying, God, I know you're still there and you will fulfill the things inside of me. So this has been Pastor Kelly Grace with his unfolding grace for today. Don't give up. Don't give up in the messy middle. God bless.